Yo, 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 yo. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Men Underground's Monthly Mailbox. This monthly mailbox is for May of this year, 2025. My name is Mint. Of course, I'm your host. Um, let's just get into this. This month, I got a few goodies, few space fillers, and some new releases from other people that I'll go through. I'm gonna try to stray and stay away from doing reviews or anything in these monthly mailboxes and just be more focused and more vigilant on what I'm trying to do, which is share what I'm getting in the month in the mail. You know, a lot of people think that just because I own a website or anything like that, that I don't buy from people. Some of these items that I buy, you might be able to tell that I bought them from you. And sometimes I could tell when you buy from me. That's just what happens. But before I owned a online music store, I've always been a collector. Before I figured out what eBay was really used for, I was always a collector. Before I found out what the sickness.net back in the days was, I knew that I was a collector. I really like music, man. And what got me into this hobby is the same thing that got you into this hobby, probably. My story is, man, I damaged, lost, things got stolen, things got impounded, and all that. And I try to replace a lot of my old collection or albums that I wanted to have. And then someone suggested, go here, go to this website, go to that website. And then I was instantly hooked on working on some things that I had and some things that I didn't have. Now, I was pretty fortunate, like some of you guys. I happen to have a good close friend of mine who's like an uncle of mine who owned a record store. Shout out to Alan, who used to be at aka Pookie, used to be at Spins Records over on the east side here in Denver. And I knew a couple other people. Also, special shout out to my homeboy Cedric, who used to work at Spins back in the days. All right. So anyhow, without further ado, let's get into May's monthly mailbox. All right, you guys. First up is he's hailing out of Vallejo, California. Um, this is technically his fourth album, fourth release. I can't remember. I don't remember the titles of his two first cassette tapes, but I know the first one dropped in 91, the second one in 92. And then he put out his first album on Sick With It Records. And who I'm talking about is a good friend of E40, Be Legit, D Shot, Sugar T, The Click. And this is Selly Cell. This is Selly Cell's second Sick With It Records album and so forth like that. And this was a good album and so forth like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I like the first one and his third album more than this one. But I do like this album. On this album, there's a few cuts that stand out and so forth. But the one that stands out the most is that everybody knows about is It's Going Down. It's going down tonight, you know. Tonight it goes down. Now, the reason why I got this one is because it's brand new. It's still sealed. But it has the promo on there. And I wanted this first pressing. Now, during April's video, I talked to you guys about sometimes you got to get whatever you can find when you want it. This is not in the condition that I would like to have it in, but I took a sealed one with a hype sticker. But I don't know if you can see behind this. There's a drill hole that goes through the back all the way to the front. And you can see it on the back of the barcode right here. You know what I mean? Looking for one that's sealed with the hype sticker on the front and no drill hole. But I take what I could get when I could get it. Drill hole or not, I mean, that's the perfect way to have it. But I really don't trip too much off of it if it has a promo drill hole or things like that, hole punch or things like that. I'm always going to take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. And if I happen to find another one down the road, cool, so be it. Also, this album did come out on Sick With It Records and Jive Records. This was after E40 Be Legit, which I believe are the co-owners of, and possibly it might be just E40, but I think it is E40 and Be Legit who were business partners on the Sick With It Records label. I think this is when they signed to Jive Records. Then they re-released his first album, but this came out in 1996, although it says 1995, 1996. Now, all that means is some of the albums were recorded in 95, some of the albums were recorded in 96, but it actually came out in 1996. I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I remember getting this CD when it first dropped. And I remember that Kobe was coming out of high school. Allen Iverson was being drafted. I remember the big NBA draft. You know what I mean? This was before Pac got killed. Same year, though. You know what I mean? I had just moved from Denver, Colorado to Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is one of the first albums that I bought when I was in the Natty. So, yeah, man. This was one of those ones that I've always had. So it has a memory. Cincinnati was a good city for me. Ohio's a great state, and that's why I remember this. See, I still celebrate albums based on where I was. I can still remember where I was, which helps me remember the years and events around that. Some of you collectors know what I'm talking about. I don't know what's going on with my voice today. But yeah, it's a little bit raspy, a little bit light. But anyhow, this is Celly Cell's Killa Cali. Came out in 1996, almost messed up, on Sick With It Jive Records. Next up, you guys, is coming out of Los Angeles, California. And it's like a compilation of guys who were all over I would say, LA County, not specifically just the city of LA, but LA County, I would say. And this compilation is a I would say a gangbangers classic. And I'm not talking about Triple X gangbangers. I'm talking about the streets of Bloods and Crips right here. The Bloods and Crips Bangin on Wax cassette tape. Now, this album came out in 1993. You want to know how I know this? Because just like when I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, I wasn't in Denver. This was my senior year of high school. My mom, she knew I was messing up. She was a little worried about my life, and guess what? She sent me to go live with my dad. Then I ended up living with my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, and guess what? I was living in Florence, South Carolina at this time, and this album came out. And I had to have it, you know what I'm saying? There's another cassette tape that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but this is the Bloods and Crips Bangin on Wax cassette tape. Real happy to have this in my collection as well. Yeah, this is a dope album. There's a few songs that I like on both sides. I'm not going to lie, I used to let it play both sides and so forth like that. A lot of people, I told myself I'm not going to get into reviews, so I'm not going to get into reviews. But yeah, this is 1993 on Dangerous Records. This is before Dangerous Records, I believe, signed with Warlock Records on this one. So yeah, Bloods and Crips Bangin on Wax, 1993. All right, you guys, this next one that I have for you is also out of Los Angeles. Now, it's a, a group hailing out of Los Angeles, and they were signed to the legendary Ice Cube back in the day during his Lynch Mob Records run. This particular, it's not even an album. It's a single. It's a cassette single by the group Kausion, and it says up here, executed by Ice Cube. And this is for What You Want to Do, Bounce Rock Skate, cassette singles. Now, this Bounce Rod Skate only has the street versions. This is a promo copy. I was able to come up on this. Still has the hype sticker on it. It is not new. It's open. The condition is pretty good. I wouldn't say like new. It's more very good, but all the words are there. Things like that. And I'm pretty much happy to have this. It is the same tracks on both sides. You know what I mean? And it's 2 tracks. And they're all street versions, okay? Gives up the Lynch Mob Records address and phone number, the 800 number, and so forth like that. But yeah, by the way, R.I.P. to Gonzo. Boy, oh boy. This is a good one for me personally. Brings me back to my sophomore year in high school before I ended up in South Carolina. Dope group out of Queens, Queens, New York, that is. And they had a song that just resonated with me. This song said chicka woo 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 do 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 woo woo woo. So who I'm talking about is Main Source's Breaking Atoms cassette tape. This is on Wild Pitch Records, and I believe this came out in 1991, late 1991, going into early 1992. Actually, no, it might have been just early 1991. Yeah, it's 1991. And I remember I was a sophomore in high school. I was not in South Carolina, you guys. I was a sophomore in high school here in Denver, Colorado at Montbello High School. You know what I'm saying? This is a dope album, Breaking Atoms, with the production by Large Professor. You guys might be familiar with Large Professor doing production on N.O.T.'s first full-length album. It was written the Illmatic album. You know, he's the one who brought N.O.T.S to Akinelli on Live at the Barbecue and all that stuff. But this is a dope album, man. Real dope album. I'm really glad to have this. One of these tracks, they have a lot of tracks on there. Just Hanging Out was a good one. Looking at the Front Door. And A Friendly Game of Baseball. Friendly Game of Baseball would also come out later on a soundtrack for the Boys in the Hood soundtrack and so forth. But if you had this cassette tape, I had the cassette tape, you would have knew that before the actual movie dropped back in the day. But yeah, this is Breaking Atoms. Dope album. It came out on Wild Pitch Records, and this is the Wild Pitch version before Wild Pitch and this album was re-released under the EMI Wild Pitch / EMI Records. So yeah, I'm happy to have this in my collection. It goes great with my long box, some of my singles, the actual all these versions of the CD releases and stuff like that. So I'm real happy to have Main Source Breaking Atoms cassette tape in my collection. Hey, I don't know what to say. Seems like LA popped up a lot in this beginning half of today's May's monthly mailbox. Sort of leaned towards this album. It's throwing some hints about 1993 when I was in Florence, South Carolina, and my grandmother took over raising me for both of my parents because they just couldn't handle me. Anyhow, the album that I'm going to talk about, I remember there's this real popular rapper by the name of Drake, right? And he coined this term, and you've seen all these people within the last decade, or probably longer than that now, they coined a term called YOLO. You only live once. Well, the first time I ever heard it, me personally, I'm not saying that they're the first, but the first time I ever heard anyone talk about it was a group called N.O.T.S, Ninjas Off the Streets, aka True Blue, and this is True Blue 2, YOLO. You only live once, Lo. And This is a real dope. I had to turn sideways, so let me give it back to you. You only live once, Lo. And, you know, I've been looking for this cassette tape for a while. I'm glad to have this. It is not brand new. It's used, but I'm glad I have to have one in pretty good condition. I'll put it in a very good condition as well. All the words are here, and so forth like that. This came out in 1994. Not saying that I wasn't in Florence, South Carolina, but what made me bring up Florence, South Carolina was their first tape that I got was their first album, the True N.O.T.S, just True Blue. With first time I ever heard Kiki Loco, Ski Bastard, and all these people. So it's sort of fitting about the Bloods and Crips cassette tape that I was talking about previously. Matter of fact, I knew about N.O.T.S before I knew about the Bloods and Crips album. Matter of fact, that's because N.O.T.S put out their album way before the Bloods and Crips album came. So this was one of the first albums that I ever heard about doing gang banging on B's and C's types of politics and so forth like that. I know a lot of people, it's not the first gang banging rap albums or anything, the True Blue album or this album or even the Bloods and Crips. A lot of people will associate DJ Quick's The Red Tape that I've never heard. I've only heard of. He talks about it, other rappers talk about it, other collectors talk about it. I had the opportunity. I might actually have a download of the Red Tape and so forth, but I don't think I've ever really listened to it because my whole point is I'm one of those collectors. I don't want to listen to the burn CD. I'm just hoping one day I find a Red Tape to add that to the collection. But getting back to the point, this is N.O.T.S, Ninjas Off the Street. And I'm saying ninjas. You can read between the lines. I can say zagging or just the N word, the N bomb. I'm trying to get good at that word myself and trying not to cuss these days. Trying to improve myself. But anyhow, this is True Blue 2, their second release. You only live once, and you can see they have, I don't know if this is a police officer or whoever laying on the ground, shot up right here and stuff, and they just chilling, you know, doing their things and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a dope album to have. It's on Ain't Joking Records. Came out in 1994. I highly suggest that you get this cassette tape, the CD, and the vinyl. We have the vinyls available in my store if you're interested. Get those. All right, you guys, that just wraps it up for all the CDs and the cassette tapes. I don't even know why I said CDs. I just had a CD. Like I said, this was a light month this month. But let's get into the vinyl. Next up is coming out of LA. What can I say? Hey, LA keeps popping up today. I'm sure we're going to get into other regions too. But right now, it's about LA. And I shouldn't even say LA because technically, they're not from LA. They're from the city of Compton, Hub City. BG Knockout and his brother Dresta, the Nutty Block Compton Crips, who were signed to Ruthless Records, Eazy-E's record label. Yeah, man, this is a dope vinyl. It was put out by HCR Records. I don't know what HCR stands for. But this is BG Knockout and Dresta's Real Brothers album. This is their first release. Dope album. I really, really like this album. You know what I really, really like though? This HCR company who put this out. They did a good job on this, man. It's a gatefold. They got the little hype sticker up over here. Let's see what it says. The hype sticker says, Real Brothers, BG Knockout and Dresta, limited edition of 300 copies. Contains collaborations by LV of South Central Cartel, Rhythm D, Dr. Jam, and Madness for Real. This is a real dope album. I highly suggest this. And you know the quality of this that I can see is mine is still sealed. They took their time and got this artwork right. Oh man, it's so clean. It's so clean. What more can I say? You know what I mean? I could get into tracks, but like I said, this ain't a review. I know. I reviewed a little bit of Main Source just a minute ago. I didn't review. I just gave a few tracks, but I'm not going to do it on this one or any other following. But if you know, you know. Get your BG Knockout and Dresta Real Brothers while you can. Go ahead and visit HCR Records. Hopefully they have some for you. I did try to get these to carry these in my store. They just don't do wholesale, and I understand that. That's fine. But yeah, go get you a copy. Go support them. All right, you guys. I'm out of LA. However, I'm still in Cali. I went from Southern Cali up to the Yay area. All right, so coming out of the Yay area, specifically Oakland, Dru Down. Psh, you see this? Dru Down. Can you feel me? Now, I remember where I was at when this came out, too. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. Can you feel me? Which is a playoff of the Fat Boys. Can you feel it? Doom, 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 doom. Can you feel it? So, anyhow, he actually remixed that rhythm, put his own beat on there. I told you I'm not going over tracks, but I'm just going to tell you what the inspiration was. This is the Can You Feel It album. Came out in 1994. This was re-released in 2024 by HCR Records as well. So this is another HCR Records. On this one, it still has a hype sticker right here. Let's read that one. It says, Dru Down, Can You Feel Me? Limited edition of 300 copies. So it looks like they're doing 300 copies per album that they do. Contains collaborations by LV of South Central again. I can't read some of the fonts on there. Papa LQ, Loonies, Superfly, and DJ Battlecat. And I can't read who the first. Oh, Bootsy Collins. Yes, absolutely. Bootsy Collins of Funkadelic Parliament. If y'all don't know, Bootsy Collins is also of the JBs, James Brown's. The JBs. So anyhow, dope album. I'm gonna be real with you. This is a super dope album. I love this album. BG Knocc on the Dresta Real Brothers is a good album, but this is a great album. This is a great album. I highly suggest that you guys go get this, check it out. HCR, man, I'm gonna say this. They do a great job on this, man. The clarity, how it came out. Man, he's wearing them Jordan 11s, them Brad Jordan 11s. Those things are smacking, dog. And I think that's a Mally in the background burning out with a 6 tray, I believe, in the back, burning out on Melrose Ave in Oakland. Eesh. Looks like they about to have a sideshow, possibly. I don't know. This is hard, man. I just highly suggest that you go get it. Hey, don't know what to say. This record company, this record label that's doing these re-releases, they keep asking me how many lumps I want. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm at 3. 3 lumps. How many lumps do you want? 1, 2, 3. So anyhow, reference to old Bugs Bunny joke. Once again, SCC presents Nationwide Murder Squad, man. That's the Murder Squad. SCC presents the Murder Squad nationwide. Dope album. Dope album. I need to say it again. Dope album. Dope album. Dope album. Yeah. Havoc and Prodigy of South Central Cartel. Once again, it has Spice One, Ice-T. Who else is this? Is a dope album. I'm just gonna be real. It's like a compilation. The Murder Squad isn't just the South Central Cartel. That's just who presents it. It's more of a compilation with a lot of the hottest, the best gangster rappers at that time. Not the only best gangster rappers, but some of the greatest gangster rappers. And I want to say this album came out in 94. Let me see. Am I right? 1995. At this time, You know what I mean? I had moved from the Bellows. I'm living on the east side of Denver, hanging out there, doing my thing. I remember this girl I was messing with. I ain't gonna get no name. She used to have a Cadillac on D's. I'm riding around with her. She had the, not the all gold ones, but she had the, with the gold nipples and spokes and all that stuff on a burgundy Fleetwood Broham, dog. That thing was pretty hard. But anyhow, yeah, I was messing around with her back in those days. But anyhow, if you know, you know. But I ain't gonna get into that. But I remember I was bumping this. I got this album when I was with her, and I put it in her tape deck. You know what I'm saying? In her CD player in that car. And I just remember when I broke it out, and I just was like surprised. And had my cousin in the back, my cousin Dudu in the back, and we was on our way to Colorado Springs that day. We was taking a little road trip. You know what I'm saying? Doing some business, doing a little road trip, and popped this in and fell in love with it while I was on the road. Dope album. But let's read this hype sticker on this one. We already know it's limited to 325. But it has Spice One, like I said, Ice-T, Boss, rest in peace, Tretch of Naughty by Nature, and Banks, BG Knockout, and Dresta, J.O. Felony, and many more. Dope album, man. Go get this one. Go get this one. Go check out HCR Records. I got to give them props. They did a great job. Once again, I can't complain about the quality of the job. Great, great, great album as well. Now, that last one, like I said, technically it's out of LA. And this one, I would say, is out of the LA area. I'm not from LA. I'm not from Cali. I can't really tell you what county. I want to say it's LA County, possibly LA County. But this one's out of Pomona. I'm just going to tell you right now, this rapper, he's known to pound on the ground with a pen and rap, freestyle, and do his thing, right? But he's also on his first album, he went by a different name, Pure Pimp. Had an album called Pimp Fiend, and he had his B-beams on watching these girls, you know what I'm saying, checking them out and so forth like that. Now I'm talking about none other. Oh, matter of fact, he was just on, what's his name? Drewski just did something on him about a month ago or so. And his name is Sugafree. This is Sugafree's, technically his second album that I would say, Street Gospel. Street Gospel. Now, out of all of these albums that HCR, this is, oh, by the way, this is HCR Records as well, that he put out. They had a great run. All four of those albums are great albums. But I'm going to be real with you. Right hand, that's not my right hand. Right hand of God. To me, no, right hand of God. I'm swearing this is the best album out of those four. Street Gospel, Sugafree. I just hate to tell you. I ain't hate to. I'm glad to tell you that this is the best album, dog. This is the best album. You know, this is the best album. This album was put out with production by the legendary DJ Quick. Speaking of the red tape, DJ Quick. But it has a hype sticker. We're gonna go over some of their hype sticker information, right? Sugafree, Street Gospel. This one's 500 copies. It should be, because they should sell that. They definitely should sell that. If it's still available, I'm surprised. It contains collaborations by DJ Quick and it says GI. I don't know who the heck that is and stuff like that. But man, this is. I want to go over every track, man. This is one of those albums I really, really, really want to go over every track because I could go over every track and tell you something about it. You know what I'm saying? Things that I relate to. My own experiences are wrapped up in some of these things, dog. And it's just a great album. The production's real laid back, real smooth. Some of the people who used the production that DJ Quick did. What's his name? Who's running with Larry June? Cardo Got Wings out of Minnesota. He used one of these beats that was on here on one of those Larry June albums and so forth. dip dive to the 9-7. That's what tiptoe to the 9-8. Oh, man, you know. I'd rather give you my than let you breathe on my last bitter. I'd rather give you my tonight. Tell me why you, baby, why you boo? Yeah, you know. So anyhow, I ain't gonna go into this, but this is the best one out of those last 4 HCR records. This is one. If you had to like, if you were like me when I was a kid and you got $10 to $15 and you had to really select when you went to the record store. Where I grew up at in Montbello, we had Russell's out there. I forgot the original one by the Montbello store in the front. There was one out right there. I forget the name of that, but I want to say it's Russell's as well. But they just switched locations out to by Bernard's. And then we had Sunshine Records, the Mall Shop, Spin Records. Then you had the regular record stores like Music Land, Peaches, stuff like that. There's all types of other ones. The Music Warehouse, all those. But anyhow, if you only had $10 to $15, you better select your dang album wisely. So out of those 4 albums, if I was gonna pay my money for anything, if you got like 30 to 50 bucks and you're going to spend it on a vinyl and you don't have this in your collection, you better spend it on this. I promise you, you will not be mad. Go get that. Sugafree, Street Gospel. All right, I know, man. L.A. was in the house today. I'm sorry, what can I do, dog? It's just what happened. It's just what happened. You know? Yes, just what happened. What can we say? So, anyhow, we're going to go a little east, actually a lot of east on the east side of the Mississippi River. Literally, right next to the Mississippi River, there's a city called Memphis and a state called Tennessee. And one of the most legendary rap groups to come out of there, outside of the 3-6 Mafia. Now, there's got a lot of legendary acts out there, but I'm just talking about groups and ones that broke the mold worldwide early on and so forth. But I'm not talking about 3-6. I'm talking about 8-Ball MJG. This is 8-Ball MJG on Top of the World. This one comes out on Suave House Records, Get On Down Records, and Coal Mine Records. I guess they're the ones who manufacture this. Great album. Great album. You gotta have it, man. If I remember, this album came out in about, 95, 96? What was it? Yeah, 1995. They just released this earlier this year. This one is a clear and green vinyl. All those vinyls that I was talking to you about earlier from HCR are all black vinyl, I believe. All black vinyl. But this is a color vinyl, rare release. This is number 453 of 500. How I got something so late, I don't know, especially when I bought it early. But some tells me they just pull it. They don't really go in order of the orders, because I'm going to be real with you. I put out my own albums, and they be numbered and stuff like that. And I don't go into order other orders either, man. It's sort of random. It's hard. It's too hard to do that, man. When I open a box, I pop it, and that's the box I'm on, and I'm sending them out. So I don't take it personal. Wish I had a higher number, though. Can't lie. But yeah, man, coming out hard on the outside looking in. Man, they have a whole breakdown on this with this OBI on the side. I really love this album, man. On Top of the World, 8-Ball MJG on Top of the World. I love these graphics. I believe these are pen and pixel graphics on here. Beautiful album and so forth. This came out very clean. I'm assuming they went right back to pen and pixel to get the actual images so they could release it properly. That's the cool thing about pen and pixel records. If you had an album on pen and pixel, you could still find them and get the actual clear file, so that way you could don't have to deal with any blurry images. Yeah, I'm real happy to have this in my collection, you guys. No complaints. Go get this album from Get On Down Records. I highly recommend it if it's available. to you, you guys. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, being patient with me as I worked, uh, just did my regular lifestyle, and being patient to me until I could get to you guys for May's monthly mailbox. This was a great, short but sweet video. I hope you guys liked it just as much as I liked doing this and presenting to you what I've got in the mailbox. I'm going to try to keep this going as much as possible. Once again, I appreciate you guys who have tuned in, like, shared, subscribed, but most of all, you guys who comment. You don't have to subscribe, comment, participate. Tell me what you guys are looking forward to. Ask me some questions about my collection. Do you have this album, Mint? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we can spark some conversations. Don't forget to check me out on my other socials. I'm usually under Men Underground, just Men Underground. So on X, Men Underground. On Instagram, Men Underground. On Facebook, I'm what am I? Men Underground Music Man, something like that. But you should usually be able to find me under some moniker for Men Underground. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, tell me what I missed, misunderstood, or anything like that. Until the next time, two Stokes, and I'm out.